Today is Tuesday, April 8th, and you're listening to the Beer Temple Podcast.
Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again.
Hello, and welcome to the Beer Temple Podcast. My name is Mike Shalau of Is Was Brewing. I'm your co-host for the day with your other co-host, Chris Quinn of the Beer Temple. Chris,
what's
up?
How
you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. You're not busy at all? You're like calm, relaxed?
I'm too busy to have still put out
2 + 2, be stressed.
either of the last two episodes. So we'll see when this one gets out.
When I asked one of our guests on, he has an event that comes up every May, and I was like, don't worry, this probably won't be out until May.
Exactly. Yeah, been doing the thing. How about you?
I'm good. I don't know if we talked about it last time, but I got the whole floor dug up, got the plumbing replaced.
Yes.
And then 2 weeks later, a different part of the plumbing backed up.
The part closer to the
part closer,
door.
yeah, where we knew might be a problem if we ever got the other one fixed. Yeah, well, there's a T. There also might be
port.
like a catch basin from like the 30s in there.
The catch basin.
And all the plumbing is clay
rotted
down there. So they think they came and rotted out the thing that got stuck this time, where it was backing up into the brewery again, and
so it backed up and was just as bad as ever.
No, it was different. It was like
a different bad.
The part nothing backed up into the bathrooms, and it wasn't the same spot. It was a different place, and it was backing up into the brewery this time. So normal operations of the tap room probably wouldn't have caused this, but
you just made Ari have to walk around in human waste.
No.
Does that make for good
Ari
terroir?
actually was out sick already, so
I can see why.
Yeah. No, the brewery is perfectly clean and safe, Chris. But yeah, so they came and they rotted it out, and then the guys came and rotted it out. They're like, but we couldn't get it more than 10. We cleared it out. It's flowing now, but we couldn't get it more than 10 feet into the plumbing. So there's something blocking, like something more solid blocking it. That's either like a collapsed pipe or some sort of like reduction that like is too small for like this. So
well, that would make I would understand why you're having drainage problems.
They're coming on Friday to scope it from a new spot. Like now that we've cleared the other part
new scope.
out, yeah, and see what's going on at this.
You're going to be an
now.
expert in massive underground plumbing operations.
I mean, we're going to have to, this is going to be the third time we're going to have to cover everything in the tap room with plastic, and they're going to dig it up. Luckily, the landlord is still being very cooperative, and at least for the scope and, like, being open to fixing it. I mean, it's good. The good thing is I can go to him and be like, the problem is that we're busy. Like, so if you want me to keep paying you rent as 90% of the rent in this building, then you should probably help me out.
Other news is, since we were last on the air, I tried to sit down with you, and you denied me a seat at my own table at my own bar.
I didn't deny you a seat. You said, is anyone sitting here? I said, there are 2 people sitting there.
I don't think I said anything. I was like, hey, what's that? And I sat down. You're like, actually, that's for them. And I was like, oh, okay.
I just didn't want to be rude to the
people whose seats it were.
Yeah. It was slammed in here.
It was slammed. Yeah, I hope.
I guess they're all
we'll
your
see.
seats, though, right?
They are mine.
Yeah.
I could kick everybody out.
It was slammed. You ran out of cheese for a second?
We were about to run out of cheese. I don't think we actually did, but it involved me racing to Bungalow and picking up like many pounds of mozzarella cheese. And those are all things that a capable person would have ordered in time.
Well, you don't have a head chef. You
I
didn't
not.
at that
I
time.
do. But he just hasn't started yet. Yeah.
Right. So you don't.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as people who don't own businesses say, that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
You love hearing that.
Good problem.
Having a panic attack on a Saturday night because I don't have brick cheese.
Exactly. Exactly.
But people showed up for the scratch
we'll
event.
See. Yeah. Jeez. Oh, my.
Bunch of nerds.
Bunch of friggin' nerds showed up for the scratch event. We, man, a lot of scratch beers. We poured a lot of different scratch beers. I think we poured 25 or so different
awesome.
scratch beers over the course of 3 days, maybe more.
I had at least
24 of them.
I had a lot of them. I didn't come for berry day.
Ah,
I was here for mushroom day and tree day.
2 good days.
They were great days.
They were good days.
Very good days.
We were supposed to have a secret day at the not secret, but at the end where we have all the partials, and we couldn't do it because there weren't
Weren't
enough. Any
partials.
Yeah, there was only a few, and then we just kicked them that day.
What a good problem to have.
What a good problem. That was a good problem.
Yeah.
It was a little too busy for the scratch folks, especially Aaron. He did straight up leave. I think for 4 or 5 hours. He needed to.
Yeah.
On Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
And he needed to get out of there.
The pace is a little different in Ava, I think.
Yeah, a little. Population 200.
I think there were 200 people in here.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, overall. And I also still need to put out the last 2 episodes, not including this one.
Whatever.
It'll be 3.
I heard them. They were great.
Yeah, I heard them. I don't know if they were great, but the last one was a little. Ugh. Anyway, why don't you're driving? I'm in the passenger seat today.
Oh yeah, you abdicated.
I abdicated because I was already busy, and then a whole crew from Sierra Nevada walks in, including not the name drop. But the CEO, I guess I'm not.
You're not name dropping.
Yeah.
You're title dropping. What's
title
his name?
dropping.
What's
Price.
their name?
Price.
Price. Price is their first name.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Mr. Price.
Price
Mr.
is such a CEO name.
Yeah.
My God.
He's Welsh.
Oh,
He's the.
wow.
I didn't say where he's the CEO of though yet.
Oh.
Sierra Nevada. So when
What's that?
he comes, it's a family-owned brewery. It's an American family-owned brewery.
Like Yingling.
Yeah. Yes. Also an American family-owned brewery. So when he comes and wants to sit and have beers with you and actually conversate, you do that.
Did you tell him that he needs to get CBS in line and get you your fresh pale kegs?
Yeah,
Nice.
I did.
And then
I
he
didn't
said-
know what to talk about. I
And
didn't
then
know
he
about
laughed
fresh
in
pale.
Welsh.
Yeah. No, he was. He wasn't fully up to date on the intricacies of every single distributor across the country. But there were some people there. I'm not going to name names or positions or anything who started to fill him in. Not Beer Temple employees.
We'll
I'll
circle
say.
back in like 3 beers and see if you'll name names.
No, I wouldn't do that because I don't want to get anyone.
Said it
in trouble.
before.
But yeah, that's true.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Just wanted to hang out.
Yeah, and he wants to do more cool things in Chicago. He used to live here for a while and loves the idea of, more cask and more, like, I just kept saying, bring, like, why is porter and stout, like, not here anymore? Like, just drop it once a year. Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Come on, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
So, anyway, enough banter.
People hate the banter.
Well, one person hates the banter. We should banter about oysters. He's an expert in it. He's a certified oyster judge. Don't you remember?
I don't remember.
We should
We do too many of
submit
these.
this one. No, the guy from
Oh,
who judged us.
Yep.
He had on his
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
in his signature all the things that he's an expert in.
Yep.
Like a certified expert. in.
Certified judge. Doesn't
Judge.
mean expert.
Right, okay. But like barbecue, oysters, beer, wine, spirits.
I just
many
can't
other
imagine
things.
a life where you judge so much.
Yeah. podcasts.
Seems tough.
He judged ours.
He has terrible judgment
Very
on
well.
podcasts, though. Yeah, he nailed our podcast.
If you're always judging, you can't be judged. Sorry.
Speaking of, we gotta do a senior
Let's
member.
cut the banter, but also
then
shh.
I had a great segue too because I was going to say
sorry.
speaking of great podcasts, but I can't because we have to go in order of seniority. That's what we always do.
Okay.
And the senior member today is Mr. Kevin Carey of Beguile Brewing. What's up, dude?
Not too much. Thanks for having me.
All right. Anyway, talking about no, what's new?
Oh, not too much. Let's see. Since I was here last, I got to be on cable news talking about tariffs. That was fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Never did cable news before.
Which cable news channel?
It's a little channel called News Nation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
It does sound like a channel.
News Nation.
It's the one that the Cuomo's on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
once he was, I believe, removed from CNN, he's picked up by News Nation. So anyway,
Got it.
cable news is way different than local news. That's what I learned. They broadcast from the brewery like 3 times, but they had like this army of people.
Whoa.
And like, you know how it always looks like fake on TV?
Yeah.
It's because they have so many lights.
Lights.
Yeah.
Tons and tons of lights.
Yeah.
Did they need a generator for all the lights?
They might have. Yeah.
They didn't plug them into your power.
They did, actually. I
Oh,
should
they
probably
did.
build them.
You should
Okay.
probably definitely build
No,
one.
I'm just saying like trip fuses and,
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
So that was cool.
And they said you were like, for
I did
the
that once. That's why I
tariffs.
asked.
No, I was definitely a little bit confused about the tariffs. Still am.
I think everyone is.
Yeah. That was kind of the point. It was like, it's really hard to run a business, when you don't know what to do in 2 months or 3 months. And also, it's hard to run a business. We just came out COVID, whatnot, but this is self-inflicted, so it's a whole thing. We can talk about it later. But more fun things. I just signed my kid up for the same elementary school as Chris.
Wow.
Chris's kids.
So my son will now be beating up his kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, what
be
I
a
was
bully.
actually
Your son
thinking
seems like a
was-
real bully.
Oh, yeah.
So they walk to my house. They pick up Daisy, take Daisy to school.
They do have a walking bus. This is for real.
What is that?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
A
So,
walking bus?
Yeah,
That
we
just
set
sounds
it
like
up.
Walking.
yeah. But it stops at different kids' houses, and then more kids join. But they do stop. They have stops. And it used to be one parent, but now the oldest kids are old enough to be like the parents or the overseers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they meet. The bus stops at our corner at 8:15. My kids are out there, and then it moves on, and it goes up to Hermitage, and then it stops again. And, our stop is like one of the last. So, it's
Nice.
walking
Sweet.
bus. It's pretty cool. It's very urban
Yeah.
thing to do. Very new age
Yeah.
urban, right?
For sure.
So, but it's cool. So
That's
Daisy
cool.
Daisy can be on there when she's a little older.
She's a
probably.
little older, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you want,
Yeah, push a stroller. No. I'm kidding. Well, that's cool. Welcome
Yeah.
to the neighborhood. Welcome to the school. Speaking of cool podcasts, it doesn't work as well anymore.
you could have skipped me.
I can.
I'm
Has
very-
to.
He's
Amenable.
beholden to his rules.
Yeah, it's the order.
You could have.
We have the host of a very excellent podcast called The Winemaker's Review. His name is Nile Zacherly, and he's zooming in from one of those trucks that you would expect to have from News Nation. Look at him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame
Yeah,
we don't
it's not-
have.
It's not exactly that fancy. Yeah.
Looks
It's
pretty.
much fancier.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, just a beer van with a beer fridge.
Yeah.
Now,
You
well,
have-
you can also put wine in here too, and food.
Are you wearing
Goodies.
a Mad Fritz shirt? Aren't you?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
I brewed this morning. I brewed a blue corn pale ale. So, 5 a.m. wake up, and I guess I was all mashed in by about 7:15, 7:20. It took me a little while to get everything dialed in and mashed in. So it was a long day, and I just dropped my kids off at soccer practice, Fritz, and so I'm here in the beer van, like hanging out with you guys,
That's
which is
awesome.
awesome. Drinking
great.
beer.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. Literally, good to actually be seeing you. Things have been good with you.
Yeah, I mean, no shortage of fun times, good wines. It's been a beautiful spring. The wildflowers are cranking. The hillside's green. The trees are, yeah, it's just beautiful in Napa Valley right now. So really enjoying that. A lot of spring rains and a lot of spring snow too if you're getting up to the mountains. But not so much. I've been actually in the brewery quite a bit and enjoying that. Just bottling, packaging, the tap room's cranking. Everything's kind of starting to kind of happen in the valley, which is nice to see.
Cool. Tell me, the tap room? Tell me about the tap room.
Oh, yeah. So July of last year, I opened a little tap room in Yountville. It's this little building that actually originally used to be the Yountville jail. So
that's amazing.
It's been remodeled, so it's not a jail looking anymore. Yeah. So you're drinking.
Well, that's a shame. It doesn't look like a jail anymore. That's not fun. You got to make it still look like a jail. You got to lock people in and have a guy with an old fashioned key on a big brass hoop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to wear like striped pajamas.
And it can be like
very small though.
Dinner
it's
theater.
Very small.
You have to have like someone trained to be like the town drunk come through, or
we could all be everyone gets to be the town drunk.
Yeah,
it's a tap room.
Be
Come on,
drunk.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's
can
awesome.
We just take it a
call
little
it the
farther
drunk
and
tank.
just call it an escape room. It could be the escape jail.
Call it the drunk tank.
Right.
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome news about the tap room. I'm guessing I heard that, but I forgot.
Until I realized that I didn't have all the permits, and then the ABC reached out and they're like, "Hey, we're opening an investigation on this location." I'm like, "Oh, whoops! I jumped the gun there, guys."
Right? I just can't open a business I want to open.
On what investigation? What do you mean? Nothing's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were cool. I closed up right away, and then within a week, I think it was 10 days, we were back open, and yeah, so very cool. They want their tax revenue.
Yeah, they just want to get paid. How many beers you pour in there at any given time?
Oh, what I kind of feel like it's a exercise in spatial relations, and with I think the main entry area, the main bar is 250 square feet.
Oh, wow.
So I have one kegerator that has 8 draft lines, and then it has a granite slab on it.
Oh.
And then I've got a hand pump on it.
You do?
With our dry stout. So 9 really, and then some bottle pours.
That's awesome.
That's perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah, super high efficiency. There's an outdoor space. It's about 500 square feet, and so it's manageable for one person. Like one person can kind of run it. There's a little turntable. You can spin your own vinyl, be your own DJ kind of deal. So yeah, it's called all Mad Fritz. Small glass pours, kind of like what Mike's doing. Wine in a beer glass and beer in a wine glass. Excuse me, I got it all mixed up.
Very cool. You should, at David Arthur, you should start doing the opposite. Start doing wine in shaker pints.
Imperial.
Just
Imperial
crappiest
pints.
shaker pints.
Yeah.
Filled to the brim.
Boss pours.
Yeah, Boss pours of
$300
of like
there's a $260 pour of wine.
Right. Yeah. Like how much would that be? Like on premise, like the on premise price.
Probably, yeah, it'd be a lot.
But
worth it though.
Yeah.
Some of the best wine I've ever had.
Yeah, that's wild. Could be done.
Will be done.
Hey, that's our beer.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, well, when you guys come back up, Kevin's got to come up and experience it. We got to get him up there.
Yeah,
I would love to. My wife and I, we did a quick. She's a teacher, so we couldn't go on our honeymoon until Christmas break. But we did a quick 2 days into Napa right after getting married, and we stayed in Yountville. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
We had the best time. So it would have been way better with a Mad Fritz tap room, legal or illegal version.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a jail, so we get away with a lot. You hear about all these jails all over the country and what's going on. We're serving beer in ours.
Sounds like a pretty cool jail to me.
Have you guys had any beers you've liked recently?
I have. Since we've been on here. Oh. Well, I'll let someone else go first.
Since we started the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin, have you had any beer you liked recently?
Well, so Chris was
Or you're excited to have?
talking all nostalgic and great about Sierra Nevada, and it reminded me about how awesome their brewery is in North Carolina. I don't know if you guys have been.
I have not.
It is
I
like
have.
Disney World.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's super cool. I
Sounds-
mean, it's hard to explain how awesome that place is.
Yeah, it's my. So this is a kids episode apparently. So soccer practice, elementary school stuff. My daughter was probably 2.5 when we were there, and she just played with a bunch of other kids for 3 hours, like from all over the place, and drank beer, and it was awesome. So this Sierra Nevada Pils that I was drinking as you were telling that story.
Yeah, it just launched today
Yeah,
here in
I think we're all drinking it.
I think we all are.
and I think for I don't know how
Can
many.
you tell me about this Pilsner?
yeah.
Can you tell me about the Pilsner? Because I know they had the other Pilsners or lagers they were doing were kind of warmer ferment temps. Are they really adhering to these cooler temps now? Do you know?
I don't know. I would believe
You didn't grill the
so.
CEO?
I didn't.
Shoot, can you look that up before I commit to this as my choice?
It's true. Yeah.
It is really good though, and it goes along with I think what I've said on the last
That's all
couple.
that matters, I guess, right?
Yeah, the last couple episodes I have been leaning towards lighter and lagers, like the beer that
Micropixel?
Micropixel, 4%. Like it's where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to look it up online, and it's not even coming up. That's crazy. Yeah. It's wild. It's like nooner is what's coming up. But
Well, if
this
you
is
find
a
out that
brand
it
new
is
one.
warm fermented, you can just edit this part out.
Okay, we'll do. Because then you hate it.
No, but in general, yeah, I've been drinking a lot of lighter beers. This I brought Micropixel to share, and this was an experiment that we tried to reduce the gluten in it.
Okay.
As I'm aging, I've been realizing that I'm drinking a lot more wine and cider because the gluten, and I don't agree. Although I did just eat a bunch of bread from
Weird
Publican.
cadence to that
Yeah.
sentence. Yeah.
The gluten?
The gluten.
Wine
Das Gluten?
and cider.
But we didn't make the cutoff to call this gluten reduced, so it's not. But
Got
it
it.
is.
Well, that was a cool story anyway.
What's the gluten need to be? Like
It's like
10 or
Yeah,
20 or
10
20 or
per-
less? What is it for gluten reduced?
20 parts per billion. Yeah, and it's like they won't tell you what it is. They won't, like if you're at like 25, they won't tell you. They'll tell you if you're under. So
Who is they? Don't they work for you? Like,
that's a good
isn't it
question.
a lab?
No. Yes, that's true. No, maybe it's the No, you have to get like certified. I
Yeah.
think. It's like
So
a
we sent it off to
certification.
get certified, and
Yeah.
Say not certified.
yeah, it either comes
So
back
it's 24 is the cut. It has to be 24 or less out of a billion.
Yeah.
So it could be between 25 and 1 billion.
It
It could be 1 billion
solid block of gluten.
out of 1 billion.
That would be a pretty funny prank. Sending like just vital wheat gluten in a can, and they'd be like, "Oh, it did not pass."
Wow. I mean, yeah, that'd be amazing, though. The highest score ever. It scored 1 billion parts per billion.
For every trend, there's a counter trend, right? Like we're making high gluten,
Yeah,
gluten
man.
only beers.
This is 1 billion parts per billion, man.
Statistically impossible, but we did it.
But we did it. I would drink
less
it.
Than 10,
I would-
right? Isn't it something like that? It's like
think it has to be,
once
yeah,
you get to 10, they can't test for it.
Yeah, I think so.
I have no idea. Do you want to have like a Boston Beer Company Dogfish Head who can make the strongest beer style competition, but who can make the most glutinous
The
beer?
glutinous beer?
Beguile and Iswas
Yeah.
and Mad Fritz.
That'd be great.
Can you get terroir gluten?
You'd be drinking. I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Just that'd be like that
Drinking
muscle, the
dough.
muscle milk.
Yeah.
I did work with this Honore ancient wheat grain from Admiral that they got grown here in California. It's like this. They found these seeds or these barley or wheat seeds in some Persian temple back in 66, from 66 AD, and they grew it back up, and then they were able to malt it. So it's this cool malted wheat that Admiral Maltings is often offering called Nore, and super cool. I made a Fevassin with it, and yeah, so totally unique genetic, non-tampered with genetics, obviously, and super ancient. So that's kind of right up there with what you're saying. Like, go after that stuff.
Very cool way to get to the highest gluten beer. That's awesome.
Back then, they were
sure,
gluten tolerant back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They should come judge.
They
should come judge the contest.
Exactly.
Yeah. Get some ancient Sumerians to come judge the contest.
The gluten contest.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
They loved it so much they literally created civilization to get gluten.
Exactly.
And
This
then
makes
we
me want to
ruined it.
create. I love this so much. I want to create a civilization.
What's that? I don't know. But
I don't know.
It gets us the
But
gluten.
we're going to do it for the gluten. We need it. The glute, baby. A beer I had that I really liked was during the Scratch event. They had a Spice Bush Hefeweizen.
I don't think I had that one.
It was on Barry's Day. It was awesome.
You had to pick one from Barry's Day. So now I feel like I should have come three. Actually, that would have been my fifth day here.
We had people
That
come
week.
3 days, all 3 days, which was kind of neat.
I also did deliveries here on Tuesday, so I would have been here 4 times in a week.
It was really good. It was amazing. It was cool. Somebody
What is
who
Spice Bush.
it's a bush,
Is it spicy?
kind of.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where's it from? The bush.
Ava,
Ava, Illinois.
Ava, Illinois. I know they do. They use that in a lot of their beers. This stuff called Spice Bush. But yeah, it was really good. Someone who had it. It was on cask as well, and someone who I was talking to just kind of like didn't pull me aside, but as I was talking to them, was like, "Have you tried?" It was just a customer. Like, "Have you tried that hef?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "You have to try it." And they said, and this person was like, "It reminds me of like, it's evocative of a Hill Farmstead beer." They said it's got this like weird, like simplicity to it, and it's really good. I was like, "Really, from a hef?" And I got it, and it was just, I don't know. It was really good. It was really special beer. It was fun.
Cool.
Yeah, that and
Glad I missed it.
that and the Chanterelle Beer de Garde.
Damn, that was going to be mine.
Oh, sorry.
Mine's the Chanterelle Beer de Garde that they make, which is a desert island beer for me, but I don't have as much as I'd like to because it's just not around all the time.
No, it's not.
It's incredible.
You
It's
may have a
like,
bottle that we can open up afterwards.
the one that was on your shelf? Because
Yeah.
I bought that already.
Oh, you bought that one. No, I think I have one in the back.
Well, I bought one on that day, and I bought the last one I saw sit on the shelf
Good.
today.
Good.
It's so unique and beautiful and interesting, and it has the earthiness of mushrooms, but it has like this apricot flavor that I feel like you can only get from like very fresh morel or chanterelle. And it blew my mind the first time I had it, and it continues to blow my mind. And then they had one from like it was the first bottle of any beer that they had bottled commercially.
Yeah, right.
Which
That was crazy. It was fun to try.
It was still tasting pretty good.
Yeah.
But I also that one they said they made with an alt beer yeast.
Yeah. Now it's a lager, but it's a BS one, like this Pils probably is.
But I was
Fermented warm.
talking to Aaron, and I'm like, so the first thing you guys chose to package as a commercial brewery was an alt beer with chanterelle mushrooms. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
of course, they're Scratch.
Of course. Or what else would they do?
What else can you do?
Yeah, and they screen printed all the bottles because I
Right.
didn't feel like buying labels.
Yeah, right. You just make one.
So we just made a
Did
label.
you ever ask them when do they put the chanterelles in? Do they dry them and then add them, or are they like fresh? What's your feeling?
They're picked over the course of 2 days. Some of them are frozen so that they can keep them very fresh. Like they're pick them one day, and they'll freeze those, and then they'll pick them fresh and the day they're brewing. But just to make sure they have enough, they freeze some of them. They add them at various times throughout the process. I think all hot side though.
They're not.
Don't think they're dry shrooming.
They're not dry shrooming. Dry.
Double dry shrooming.
Trelling.
Dry chantrelling.
Yeah, it'd be amazing if they were.
You think your Rawaka hops are expensive? Check out these chanterelles.
Exactly, we're dry chantrelling.
Yeah, we got to make a psychedelic beer soon. You know,
mushy.
what's stopping us?
Go to Portland.
Mushy beer.
I mean, if anyone were to do it, I guess you'd really get the flavor of the psilocybin mushroom if it were from scratch.
Yeah,
I bet the
the
Canadians-
terroir of the Ava psilocybins.
The Canadians are probably doing it.
Probably.
They're way ahead of us.
when it comes to putting drugs in liquid form.
Yeah. Especially mushrooms and candy bars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so I've heard.
Great.
Sure.
I have kids. I don't have time for that sort of
Same.
shenanigans.
Like I said, I heard. I hung out with other people who happened.
Wait, you're not microdosing all day? Come on, what's
that
wrong?
doesn't count.
Chris, did we talk about the article that was on Punch recently that was talking about these things called boiler fakers?
No.
Which is, I know we haven't because I feel like you're going to love this.
We talked about upper deck fatties.
We did talk about splitting the G with upper deck fatty lip pillows.
Exactly.
A boiler faker, Chris, is a non-alcoholic beer.
Oh no! I knew you were going there.
But
too.
it's also a shot of just full-on alcohol. It's just like a regular shot. And the article says, quote,
That's amazing.
someone says it's, quote, kind of like micro-dosing alcohol. And I just think it's not.
it certainly isn't.
Yeah, especially because the non-alcoholic part is the booze. It's like the hard alcohol.
You know,
You're just
exactly.
taking shots.
You know what that is? That's the the best metaphor for that is when in The Simpsons they went on some sort of Boy Scouts retreat, and Homer and Bart took they were rafting and they took the wrong turn at a fork in the river, and they went out to sea and they had this rations canister, and he said the key, and I think Ned Flanders was going over how to use them, and then Homer snatched it from him and says, "I'll show you how to ration." And he goes, "The key is to take tiny bites," and he goes, and he starts eating the whole thing, and that's essentially what a boiler faker is doing.
You're just drinking.
You're just drinking you're just doing a shot.
Yeah.
But you're dropping it into a...
No. It's like a shot in a beer. Like a boiler maker isn't like a bomb. It's just you take the shot and then you drink the beer next to it.
Right.
So you're just doing shots.
I thought a boilermaker is when you drop the shot into the...
No,
Boilermaker
Boilermaker
is-
is just a shot in a beer.
Boilermaker is classy. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's like
Brew class.
like you drink a porter and whiskey.
Or a Jameson and a Athletic Run Wild.
This is incredible. I love it.
Yeah,
Speaking of,
like
I'm gonna
tablecloth,
microdose.
pretty much. Yeah.
microdose and micropix.
Yeah, microdose, micropixel.
Sorry, now what were you saying?
Oh, yeah, that's high class white tablecloth. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Boilermaker. Yeah,
You're in Yountville. You should pitch that to Keller and put it on the pairing menu. See if he'll do some boiler faker pairings.
boiler fake.
Anyway, now have you had any beers or any beverages you've really enjoyed recently?
Well, I'm always curious about wines. I'm always curious about beers. I got the opportunity to drop some beers off over at Lime Ventures in Concord, and I do that maybe once a quarter. So there are a few six souls that end up in various places around California, and it's always fun. Every time I'm driving there with the beers, the kegs, I'm like, I'm not going to buy any beer. I'm not going to buy any beer. And I go in there and I'm just like, oh, I need that. I want to try that. I've never had that. And so yeah, I'm kind of a kid in a candy store. They're super nice. They just, let me buy a few cases here and there. So, yeah, I usually come home with a case of this and that. But yesterday I was with Fritz. He's on a spring break. Obviously, the brewery, Fritz, Madeline, and Fritz. So Fritz is the youngest, currently playing soccer right now. And we're in Santa Rosa in the beer van as we dispatch this podcast right now. But yesterday we were at an account that I've been trying to get into again because the buyer changed. So as it happens, you go into your wholesale accounts and see who's doing what and what they're pouring. And of course we want Mad Fritz there, but they had the Fru Kolsch in the bottle, and it was tasting pretty good. And I was just reminded, okay, hey, wow, I love Kolsch. And it's a great rendition of that beer style, and ours obviously is all barrel aged and a little bit more wing nutty, I guess you might say, a little bit obscure in its approach, but just great having that refreshing style as you were mentioning, Kevin, just getting back to those pilsners, lighter styles, starting to warm up. And it was awesome.
Whose Kolsch did you have? Do you remember which Kolsch?
Fru, F-R-U-H.
F-R-U-H. Cool. Very cool. I'll have to, It's
check that one out.
It's a shame. One thing that we really need to be talking about, but we can't for reasons that will become obvious momentarily, is who was in San Diego? No. You know who was in San Diego recently? Fademaster.
Hey,
Fademaster was at Pizza Port Ocean Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Ran into Sean McElhenney while he was there. They were chopping it up.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about,
remember when I cold called your bar and got you to come on my podcast?
Right,
that was
exactly. So apparently,
Nice.
in person, he talks. I've never heard him talk, but apparently, when he's not,
He said
here,
when he was on the podcast. Yep.
Oh, okay.
think
I
it's
must
a
not have
couple
heard him.
yups. Yeah.
I must not have heard. I've never heard him talk. But apparently he did, and ran into McElhenney. And
Maybe we need Serge to host the episode next
did
time.
you enjoy? What'd you think of Pizza Port Ocean Beach there, Serge? Double thumbs up.
Double thumbs up.
Double
Yep.
thumbs up for Pizza
That's
Port.
the highest Serge
What was his
rating.
favorite beer? What's the beer that he wants to talk about on that journey?
Swami is what he was.
Swami.
Yeah, it's a good one. Swami IPA.
Classic.
Yeah. I after that I've tried to convince my wife that we need to take the whole family to San Diego. And I think we're going to.
You're gonna bring your 2 children to Pizza Port?
Well, yeah.
They
for
have
sure.
pizza.
They have pizza.
Oh yeah, in Port. One.
It's right by the beach. The
Uh-huh.
one in Ocean City. Ocean Beach is, rather. Ocean City is where the T-shirts are. And yeah, I have family out there. They have cousins they've never met. So
Great.
there's McElhenney beer they've
It's
never met.
Yeah. It's a family trip.
Yeah, there definitely will have to be like certain things that they'll have to. I've already
Is this the one
said.
you said is like the fatheads of the West Coast, Dad?
Yes, exactly. Those kids have been to Fatheads. I bet you more times. If I had to put money, more times than any kid
That
in
doesn't live in the Akron
in
area.
Chicago.
Oh, yeah, dude.
They've been there a lot.
I would put money on that for sure.
Yeah, they know it. They know when we're going. They know it by sight. Yeah.
They're like, oh, cool, this industrial park
I
again.
kind of
Thanks,
feel
Dad.
like you guys have single-handedly hyped up Fatheads to the point where they're getting all these, awards and stuff. It's all your work.
We are highly influential in the
realize that?
GABF blind judging process.
You know what else we influenced? The purchase of an iconic
You say
bar in
San
San Francisco.
You
Maybe
you,
the iconic bar in the country.
You say the
Well,
devil's name and he'll appear.
Yeah. So
Well, you said it was going to be some techie guy. I would listen to that podcast. You're like,
Yeah.
it might be some sort of.
if I had a better
said what's-
memory, I'd remember who.
We
but-
said it's the worst. What's the worst case scenario?
So yeah, we said, what's the worst case scenario? And it was like some tech bro buys it.
It's worse than what we said the worst case scenario is too.
Okay, so
The headline of this article in the San Francisco Standard, which I don't even know if this is a real publication, but
pretty
it's
standard.
Crypto bro is buying storied
No,
lower
it
hate
says
beer,
that.
buying storied lower hate beer bar. Period. Will launch quote Toronado Cash coin.
No. All
That's,
right.
that's the headline, dude. I'm
Did you
not,
not-
I'm reading it verbatim. Did you not look at the outline that I made like 15 minutes ago?
Oh, you added shitcoin.
Wow.
Sorry.
I did add S-Coin. I
A
said
prospective buyer who was beaten out said the sale to a techie felt like bringing a Tesla to a hot rod meet.
I'm not sure what that metaphor is. Who's the Tesla? Who's the hot rod?
I'm guessing the techie guy is the Tesla.
Yeah, but the hot rods are cool. The
what
person
he's
who's
saying.
buying it
That's what
apparently
the guy-
is named Orion Parrot, which just sounds like the most made up name I've ever heard. But yeah, he's like a part of the best founder community in crypto. He wants to create a coin to help fund his.
What projects is he working on?
Oh
Any
boy.
good projects? Any good crypto projects?
A fund. He's a fund general partner at Orange DAO. He announced the news. He entered into a contract with the Telegram. Blah blah. I don't know what he wants to turn it into Blue Bottle or La Boulanger, which sold for $700 million and $100 million, or is valued at $700 million and $100 million respectively. So that's what his vision for Toronado is to turn into a $700 million
A coffee
company.
shop. He wants to make it a coffee shop.
So he's a partner in an orange fund,
Yeah.
whatever that is. My goodness.
He this is a quote from like the message he announced this on. It said, "Thrilled to share my personal project in this private channel of Chads." So that's cool. This guy stinks.
Wow.
So this is if you thought that the customer service at Toronado was bad before, just wait until it's a kiosk. That you go in and you swipe your
Self-pour.
card and you sell a self-pour kiosk. Kevin, have you ever been to Toronado?
I did not go. We were in San Francisco before going to Napa a couple times, and did not go to Toronado. I was a regretful mistake at the time, but seems like I don't need to check it out.
Yeah, I think we're going.
Can take it off the. Oh, hey.
What's up?
Oh, we can't hear. I think I turned down the mic.
Can you turn it back
Yeah,
up?
yeah. Can you turn them on, or I turned it off? Okay, now can you hear?
Nile, you've obviously been to Toronado, right?
Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit. I've been, treated like many people, mostly poorly, but, enjoyed the beers I've had there. But, yeah, you're not sure whether you're going to hang out or whether you're going to get kicked out.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see what the point of this guy buying this is. It seems, I don't know.
I think it's most likely. It's in my kind of thought about it was it's somebody with so much money that they're like, oh, there's this thing that people like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy it, and because I deal in this thing that isn't real, and they want something that's a little bit tangible. The thing about flipping it as a bigger company tells me that he doesn't understand the company that he just bought.
Right. No, has no idea what he just bought. It also, like, the more, like, when you read this guy just seems like the weirdest, like, worst version of this. Was formerly a contractor for Raytheon, led a Y Combinator-backed tech company, partner real estate fund that preserves historic homes in Massachusetts, bucolic Berkshires, which is just means that they buy mansions and flip mansions. Like, this guy stinks.
It's it doesn't. I think it's like the idea of like I don't know. Everyone kind of on this podcast is involved in selling alcohol of some kind, but I think the biggest thing that we all do really well is like building community and having a place where people feel welcome. Maybe it's in a jail.
Yeah,
Maybe,
It might be in jail.
maybe it's in an old warehouse like our places. But, I don't know. It just doesn't, Tornado was special to a lot of people for a lot of reasons. And, having somebody buy it because they think they can flip it into a $700 million company is just, it's like a hard stop. Like, I don't see how that, unless he completely changes the business model and actually opens a coffee shop and then wants to, sure.
So I miss it a little bit. Do we know what this guy wants to do?
I mean, he wants to make $700 million, Chris.
No. Did he say that?
Yeah, he said he wanted to turn it into something like Blue Bottle or La Boulangerie, or Boulange, which is $100 million and $700 million valuations. So he thinks they're iconic, like Seattle or San Francisco brands that he can turn into that. So that's what he thinks he's going to do with Toronado.
Wait, what's Boulangerie is? I know that from
La Boulange, I think, is like a
bakery in New Orleans, though, right?
I don't know.
Well, Blue Bottle's a coffee shop that expanded all over the country, and there's one in Chicago now. But it's just like you look at it.
Started out of a garage in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's just it's like a Pete's Coffee or
Yeah.
trying to think of what else would be that size, but
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's the plan.
Good luck.
Good luck. Also going to make a coin. So hopefully he'll rug pull a bunch of old head Saison traders. How much money do you think Don't Drink Beer is going to lose on the Toronado Cash coin?
That's amazing. So do you think any of us will ever step foot in Toronto? You got to go, Nile? Or what's up?
Yeah,
Okay.
I eventually got to go here
Okay.
pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see. I think like what you guys talked about last time is that I think we'd all like to see it continue as a place where we can enjoy these incredible beers. Sounds like they're holding on to some of their staff and see, I don't know. It's really that the article doesn't. There really was not a lot of supporting evidence to anything that's going on.
No,
so.
that's part of this. Is like this might just all fall apart. Like I think the source of this is like a group chat where this guy's like, I'm buying it, and so like it was just this guy sucks so much that like I wanted to talk about this. We manifested the worst possible outcome, but yeah, we'll see if this actually comes to fruition. But
Let's hope
he
not.
says he's buying it, so
Let's hope not.
they're asking $1.75 million for the property and the business.
that's something.
But wasn't the brand kind of quite a bit lower? I can't recall. It was I don't know. I remember reading something that it was a lower price for the brand, but yeah, I can't recall the details.
Well, that's an interesting point because I feel like that might even be, that's you have property in San Francisco is probably the most valuable part of that transaction.
Right.
Like, what is Toronado to the people outside of
Nothing.
the folks that are looking for really good beer? Yeah, it's
Nothing.
so it really does feel like
Could be a coin.
yeah.
Could be a coin. That's the thing.
Could
If
be
you
a
just
coin.
want to, the thing about like a beer bar, I mean, unless you're just going to take the place, that actual place, you can't just make it again. Just call it something different then.
Right.
I mean, just make a new bar.
Right.
Like
Yeah, I mean, I also think the things that place is known for are not franchisable, right? And this guy doesn't seem like he's interested in like franchising. I guess he is interested in franchising it, but like that place isn't franchisable. Like the things that they're known for are not like.
I want to make $100 million. How am I going to do it? I know. I'm going to buy the Toronado.
I feel this just feels like tech people talking. Where if you're not saying you're gonna like make $100 million, then why are you even getting out of bed, right?
All right.
Like,
I don't know. If you have to go anytime now, just let us know. In the meantime, I'm going to tell a story that's kind of crazy. I don't know if I should be telling this story.
that's the best kind.
Yeah.
Story ever.
So there's
You want to hear the story, Fritz?
So there's a tech bro who's now running GSA. It's an agency, one of the big federal agencies that someone very close to me works for, and he finally he's been doing a lot of video attachments on emails, but you never like saw the guy. And he finally did a town hall, and for the people in D.C., they were there, and then everyone else was zooming in. And the dude showed up in a long-sleeve black mock turtleneck, and that's how he was giving the whole time.
Like Stevie J.
Yeah, like Steve Jobs.
Stevie J.
And people were...
Government Steve Jobs.
He's like government Steve Jobs. He's like, yeah, but he's a Silicon Valley
Pull a
tech
tiny
bro.
iPad
Niles
out of his
Niles
pocket.
probably met him. They're probably
knows
best.
that guy.
They're probably best friends.
He's nodding his head. Yes, he knows this guy.
How many
They're
how many
best
people
friends.
like how common are mock black turtlenecks out there? Is that like just what everybody wears? Or I was saying that it should be in the tech world. That should be retired the
Yeah,
way
put it
a
in the
jersey.
put it in the rafters.
Yeah,
of
nobody
every
in tech is
company.
allowed to wear that anymore.
No more mock
It's
turtlenecks.
retired. Yeah, but
All I can think of was like the SNL skit of Dieter and with the mock
Yeah.
turtleneck.
Sprockets.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, with sprockets. Yeah.
Sprockets, yeah. Yeah, no, we don't see much of that. It's too, I don't know.
Too
that
on the
is-
nose.
That is a crazy front.
I mean, the black mock turtleneck should be up there. The Gap hoodie and the FU flip flops should be in the rafters.
Right.
You know, of awesome tech company attire.
Right. So yeah, that's what he wore to the first meeting.
That's a guy who's very self-aware. You know, really knows how he's being perceived by anyone at any given moment, and really cares.
And it's true insight into what he thinks of himself.
Right.
Yeah. I sold AI to Salesforce, therefore I'm Steve Jobs. Tell me I'm not. I dress like him, don't I? Anyway, what's next on our agenda? Mr.
Should we
Mike?
say
yeah,
goodbye?
Sayonara.
Sayonara, and should we maybe freshen up our drinks or? Before we start?
Intermission.
Yeah, maybe we'll take an intermission. Niall, is there anything you'd like to say?
Thanks for having me
parting?
on.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Although brief, Kevin, pleasure. We're going to see you again.
Absolutely.
Serge, pleasure. And yeah, we'll be sharing beers soon. I got to
right,
get
man.
myself out there.
Yeah, we got to get out there too. But yeah, if you come out here, we'll show you a good time.
We absolutely will.
All right. I'll see you.
See you soon, Niall.
Thank you, Niall.
All right.
Bye.
Until next time.
Yep.
Bye.
And we will be back in a few minutes. We'll freshen up our drinks and come on back.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Beer Temple podcast. I'm your host, Mike Shalau, with your other host, Chris Quinn of the Beer Temple. And we are here with Kevin Carey of Beguile. Kevin, how are you?
I'm still doing pretty good.
Let's go.
I'm drinking beer out of a chalice.
I haven't had a chalice in a minute.
No. It's quite good.
Chimay. Chris, you got a letter for us, a handwritten letter.
I do have a handwritten letter. I was going to think, do we want to talk about this or there's nothing necessarily topical on this letter. We'll definitely read it. Obviously, we read all our letters. Do we want to talk about this or the Goose Island thing? It's up to you. You want to do the letter?
Let's do the letter, and then we'll segue into the Goose Island thing, maybe?
Oh, you think we have time for both? How?
It's 53 minutes. How long is the letter?
You are.
How long is this letter?
No, it's multi-pointed, so it's multiple talking points.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So this is a handwritten, mailed letter, and it comes from Missouri. And it's, hello, Mike and Chris. I've thought of a few topics and questions for you, both plus guests, to talk about on your pod. Without further delay, I might go in different order than he wrote them. Mike, you've said a few times that Guinness is one, if not your favorite beer. Is Guinness the only dry stout you love? If Guinness was unavailable to be your desert island beer, would you be as content with spiteful GFY?
Is that a dry Irish stout? No, that's like an imperial stout, isn't it?
I think it's is it a stout? Is it an
No,
imperial?
they
IPA?
might make a dry Irish stout, but GFY
That's like a
is mint.
10%.
Yeah.
Imperial stout.
Honestly, it's just Guinness. I feel like Guinness is unique. Anything else is a dry Irish stout, except for the one Kevin made,
Murphy's
which is
or
also great.
Beamish.
Yeah, this is kind of a pointed question. Did this person know? Because I make a dry Irish stout, and it's delicious.
No,
Oh.
I wouldn't. If I was like on a desert island and it was like Murphy's or Beamish or Guinness, I would say I don't want. I just want the Guinness. I don't want to sub it out. I'd rather just pick a completely different beer.
Okay. And why
Kevin,
is that?
Kevin is raising his hand.
I'd like to disagree with Mike.
Great.
He has clearly not had a creamy beamy, which he will be having in a couple weeks when he goes to Dublin.
An absolute
Beamish.
creamer.
When you have a creamy beamy in Dublin, you will change your. It'll blow your mind. We can't buy it here in America, so you should work
Not
on
anymore.
that. Chris.
What's
we
the-
used to
what-
be able to.
You used to, but you can't.
They don't have Beamish at all here anymore.
No, not at all. But I think Chris is the guy that could change that. And you're gonna go and you're gonna have a Beamish, and you're like, "Wow, this is awesome." You're gonna go, yeah. It's
I
gonna be
think
great.
Guinness is
I'm
better.
excited for it.
But
We'll
Beamish,
see.
Beamish, I would put number 2.
Do you know how much it costs to go to the Guinness tour where you see anything that actually has like stainless steel or anything on it?
It doesn't cost. You can't do it.
You
Yeah.
can. It costs almost $400 to take a tour where you see them making any sort
So
of.
as I was saying,
Wow.
it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
no one
and
does that.
I was talking. I'm going there in a few weeks with my wife for.
You gotta go to the Sky Bar or whatever they call
We
it.
were doing that,
Oh,
and I was like,
skip the whole thing and just
Before
go
I
straight
knew
to the top.
Before I knew that, I was like, hey, I want to see it. Like, I know
Yeah.
it's a crazy facility. Like, let's see what like the tour to take.
You gotta go to the
And I was
gate.
like-
You gotta
I was
go
like,
to St. James Gate.
Right. I was like, what could it cost to like actually go to like the brewery tour? Because I knew the one was like basically a guided tour where you get
Yeah.
a Guinness at the top for $30.
But you get to see
And-
some old like bottles, and if you care about that stuff,
That's gonna be fun. But I was like, I want to do the one where I see stuff. Like I want to see what
You
they're
wanna see the
doing
brew house.
and see if I'm like, and I looked at it. I'm like, oh no, we're
You
good.
can-
We're just gonna go to the regular tour. We're gonna do whatever we want.
Yeah, it's like a self-guided walk-through thing.
Yeah,
you
which
do
that's
get to
the one
see
that's the one we will be doing.
the original deed, which is kind of cool too.
That is cool.
It's under like I think literally a foot of glass, but it's built into the floor, so it's like a piece of glass, and it's like you could see it there. And I think
cool.
it's like a 999-year lease or something like that. It's like insane.
It's almost
Can you
up,
imagine
but,
when you're like 2 years out from your like,
Yeah.
lease expiring?
and
I'm
you're
like,
like, oh, this is gonna go up so much.
Oh no.
Go up like a bazillion times.
Yeah, but the cool thing about it is, you know, the script of Arthur Guinness's signature in the back of the can. It's in red, you know,
Yeah.
on the back of like a Guinness can. So he signs it, and it's
the
it's in
actual
ink,
signature.
and it is that signature. So they're like, oh, I've seen that signature before.
That's pretty cool.
That's
That's
kind of cool.
I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it, and like the having a fresh Guinness in Ireland, and then maybe a creamy beamy, and then the views from that bar up there. But
When are you going?
the first week of May,
wow, it's the best time.
yeah, it should be fun.
So your answer is
Beamish.
GFY, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I'd rather have a GFY.
No.
Sorry,
Meaning,
Brad.
No. To any other beer other than Guinness. If someone offers it to you,
Oh, yeah,
you
G-
say GFY.
I mean, I would just pick if the question is a different stout, it would be GFY. I would rather just pick an entirely different beer.
Yeah.
Will be
If you were
probably.
out of state, what one Chicago brewed beer would you pick up if you were in Chicago for only 10 hours? I wonder why it was 10. What one? Okay, distributed to Chicago beer would you pick up? So there's 2-part question.
Okay, so one.
This one isn't just for you, presumably.
No, but I will monopolize the time.
Okay.
Thank you. One Chicago brewed beer and one Chicago distributed beer.
So you're in from, yeah.
Missouri.
No, let's not say Missouri. Let's
And-
say like Arkansas.
Okay.
Far away.
Oh,
And the
that's
idea is to like capture the most Chicago beer, or like my favorite beer made in
A
Chicago.
unique beer that you can
And-
only get,
in Chicago.
or yeah, I guess a Chicago. No, I guess it could just be a Chicago brewed beer. Because if you're in Dublin and you can only get one beer that's made in, I mean, what are you going to get? A creamy beanie?
Probably
I mean, let's be
probably
real.
Well, it's not made in Dublin.
Well, fine. Let's say Ireland then, and
made
all
in
of
Cork.
Ireland.
So one beer made by Chicago or Chicagoland breweries, and one beer that is distributed in Chicago that you can't get most other places, I guess, is what this is going to be.
Sure.
One beer made by Chicago brewery.
Let's just do the Chicago brewed one
Yeah.
for all of us. That one's difficult enough. Are we going to say Chicagoland? I think we
It's
should.
a Chicagoland. As long as that like Chicagoland brewery doesn't distribute like widely, right?
Can we also pick like a year that beer was brewed in?
No.
Okay.
Yes,
I-
2025 is the
Okay.
year.
Okay.
Or scheduled to be.
Okay.
Or hopefully scheduled.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, that I didn't make.
I didn't. I mean, that would be such a. Yeah. Yeah. You'd be.
Oh well, obviously will be, but I don't know.
Tricky question.
It's
That's
like
a tricky question.
because you're trying to like balance
thinking
the,
too,
like,
by the way.
something that would be like representative of Chicago, and also something that is like incredibly like good and just it will.
If someone was here right now, I
Like
wouldn't
Daisy Cutter is representative of Chicago and iconic in a way, but it's also like I don't think that would.
I think it depends
the way
where
it's
they're from.
drinking right now is
if
not
they're
my
from
favorite.
Arkansas, I wouldn't necessarily do it. But if they were from like Patagonia,
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably say Bourbon County.
Sure,
You know,
sure, but yeah, that's like almost a national beer at this point.
that's why. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying
the
that.
country's beer.
So it depends where. If they're coming from Mars, you know, I would say, not Mars.
Jungle Boogie.
Yeah.
To be fair,
And I
though,
guess I would have to say Jungle Boogie.
the
How
brewing
about-
scene in Patagonia is pretty
It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, we
Got some
know
good
someone.
malt down
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
Berlina.
I'm not
Cerveza,
saying that they
yeah.
can't get good beer. I'm just saying they're coming where they don't have access
Right,
to
the bourbon barrels
Yeah,
and-
really any of this stuff. So, but
I do think this city does saison like as well as almost anywhere in the world. To be honest.
wow,
Maybe something from Afterthought, maybe something from Off Color. Like those are things that I think when I've traveled around the country of the United States, like the scene of making those types of beers isn't quite as robust or as respected by the consumer, at least in my perception of it.
you want to hear something crazy? We're doing, I guess, a launch event apparently for a side project.
I like that that's a question.
Yeah.
Oh, then that's the beer I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna choose
Distributed.
side project at your launch party. Yeah,
exactly.
nailed it.
No, what about the Chicago brewed one? So I would say, barring BCS, and maybe I would do BCS anyway. I do like that slow melt from Half Acre. I think that was a really good beer. But like after that, I would just pick a beer that I've had recently that I really liked. I wouldn't
Right.
put too much thought into it.
Right.
From a distro standpoint,
Trumer Pills.
it's a good one as well.
Well, I kind of think just deducing
Allagash
down.
White.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna stick with Chicago for a second
Mm.
to round it out, but you guys have both briefly mentioned Half Acre. I think that might be the ticket. Is it's like they're not available in a lot of places. They've been very careful about where they send beer to. I think it's like Colorado sometimes, California,
New Jersey.
New Jersey, and I think
Philly.
that's pretty cool for a brewery their size. And for me, I can't pick a beer because they don't make it anymore, but it would be a Carey Shogun,
Sure.
right? Like, that's a good beer. They should bring it back, but it doesn't count for this conversation. But as a whole, though, it sounds
Hazy
like
beer for Astronaut.
if we were to pick a brewery to buy a beer from, and it could be any, they might have any one or a bunch of different releases in their tap room at the time in cans. But that just seemed to be what I was picking up on, because I was going to pick the beer that I just said, but I can't say it because it doesn't count because it's not brewed in 2025. But a beer from Half Acre.
Okay.
Or a
Did you
Saison.
pick one? You just said a Saison.
He was very
Yes.
broad.
Yeah, I couldn't. I said will be was my real answer, but
And then throw
I
on
think like
a Big Al Blonde
to
while you're at
capture
it.
like the essence of Chicago's craft beer scene and have a great beer. I think like that Half Acre is hard to argue against, but also Beguile would be a great one. Like it's the Just go and have any Big Isle beer because you guys have been around almost as long as they have, and have just been making great neighborhood beers since the beginning.
It's good beer.
Here's his next question. Would you ever consider? I'm not sure I understand this question. Would you ever consider a fantasy draft fridge benefit list? Same rules, 1, 4, or 6-pack from each North American coast, and 1 South and 1 Midwest. 1 Western Europe, 1 UK, 1 rest of the world. I guess the answer is yes, we would consider that.
We consider all comers.
I don't get the fridge benefit list. What's that mean?
There's some sort of
fridge benefit.
Fridge, like fringe benefit, like fridge benefit.
Got
like
it.
Some wordplay going on.
Got it.
What are the regions?
West Coast, East Coast, South, Midwest, Western Europe, UK, rest of world. That's a good one.
Did we do that?
I think we did that.
I thought we
already.
did that.
Well, we might have done like 1 German, 1 Belgian. We might have like kind of done that. We had it in regions before. So I think we already did it. I think he just wants more fantasy drafts.
Oh, nice.
He's the one.
Yeah.
I would draft all lagers from different.
I've had other
regions.
people who said that they like those episodes. So
Nice.
we could do
People
it.
Uh,
love gambling. Like, let's be honest.
Here's the first question. That's why I didn't start with this one. Could you discuss at length why The Simpsons: The Last Exit to Springfield is or isn't the best episode of The Simpsons? I guess the question is, could you discuss? Yes, we could.
We could.
Will we? Probably not. Is it the best one? Which one is that? Is that the one where he is? He runs Last Exit to Springfield. It's not the monorail one.
It's Marge versus the monorail.
That's Marge versus the monorail. Is that the one where he's a union boss? Last Exit to Springfield.
Homer takes on Mr. Burns as a labor struggle and rapidly
Yes.
spirals out of control.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The first thing that comes up, because I had to Google it, was a YouTube video saying, "Is this the best episode ever of The Simpsons?" and the breakdown of it is 20 minutes and 46 seconds long.
As long
and
as
I'm
the
pretty sure the episode is 22 minutes long.
I mean,
Something like
it's
that.
basically it's like James Joyce at this point.
Right.
I mean, college professors are talking about it.
What is your favorite episode of The Simpsons?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'd have to really think about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But it's in this era.
I haven't
It's
watched so
certainly
many of them in
in
so
this
long.
era.
Yeah, absolutely this era. I mean, that one might be up there. I love the baseball episode. That's
Obviously you
classic.
would.
Overlaps with a lot of my interests.
Yes.
And then Marge versus the monorail is just
Yeah. That's
Classic.
like the easy
that's chalk.
go-to. Yeah, it's the chalk pick for the best episode of all time.
it's Conan O'Brien's favorite episode.
No, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So yes, to answer your question, we could talk about it. Congrats on the March Mildness win. You're welcome. Or thank you.
Welcome. No, you said what you meant.
Yeah, you're right. We hit over 500 this year. So we got
That's
to get
crazy.
to, I think, 550 or 600 next year.
I only did one this year.
We had multiple people filling out their cards.
That's individuals.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some people trying to combine, which is
You allowed that last year. As far as I heard.
totally lame. I didn't
I
allow it.
didn't partake in that.
I
I would
didn't allow
never
it.
do that.
And he says, next year, will you handicap Forest and Maine 200? Not a bad. Just let them
yeah.
start with 200.
Well, they should be. We should maybe start with 200. Maybe we can do like an Ambler versus Chicago population ratio.
So we have to do 64 times as many as them. I don't think that could work. I don't think that would work.
Well, it would work. We just wouldn't win.
No. Yeah. So right. So for every one they pour, they get 64.
Yeah.
Okay, we could do that.
Or maybe we got to do like a wider area. But what was it this year? It was 500 something to what?
I think they got like about what they got last year, 300 and something, and we
So you're screwed if we do 64.
a 200 pint head start. What I do want to do next year is get multiples and have a leaderboard. And I
Like
want to
other places could be like machine
house.
head,
Machine house.
machine house.
I want to get them. Machine
Yeah.
Head. I want to get Machine Head playing
Motor-
by
Motorhead.
Bush.
Yeah.
But I want a cover of Machine Head by Motorhead playing while we take on Machine House and beat them. Because they're the originators of March Mildness.
That's right. We found that out.
And that is from Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie. Very much appreciated. If anyone else would like to send a letter, either electronic or handwritten, you can do that. The information is in the show notes if this show ever gets out. Now, what are we at, Serge? 50. We're at like 70 minutes, right? Yeah, on the dot.
Do we want
Okay.
to save the
Sure.
the Goose Island thing because it's
could.
going to be you and I forever on this show, and then maybe talk about the kind of platforms that are emerging because Kevin seems to have some understanding of what's going on that's smarter than us, and talk about that for a few minutes.
Yes.
So like the two other articles I had on the doc are not the same, but they're like similar directionally, where Left Hand and Dry Dock are merging and starting this platform of kind of like consolidating or incorporating a bunch of smaller brands together in Colorado to try to become stronger together, as well as Wilding Brands acquiring Great Divide, also in Colorado. Wilding Brands is Stem Cider, Funkworks, and what was the other?
Denver
Beer
Beer Company,
Company, which is like a highly awarded brewery out of Denver. And like people from what was it? People, there's a couple of like places in beer that are like from the future, you know, like California is from the future, and Colorado I feel like is from the future as far as these kind of like maturity of the businesses go. And so it's interesting to see two different like parallel lines of older established breweries that have scale but might see some ebbs and flows in popularity and sales, trying to come together and create these what they're calling like platforms, for lack of a better word, of like ways they can help each other or I guess roll together. Kevin, what do you see going on with these brands and businesses, and what do you think the benefits are?
It's quite interesting. I think something that I picked up from the transactions that took place last week, you have Dry Dock, who actually had already closed their brewing facility and merged with Great Divide, and so they were making Dry Dock beer at Great Divide. Great Divide had a deal to merge with Wildings, and then they were going to close the Great Divide Brewery in downtown Denver. So Dry Dock was sort of left. It appears that Dry Dock was left with like trying to figure out their own thing, because Dry Dock's like 22,000 barrels in Colorado, which is pretty big for a brewery. And
Started as a homebrew shop.
And I think that I read in that article that they actually grew their distribution after merging with Great Divide. So Left Hand they're good friends of ours. We were fortunate enough to meet them a few years ago.
Got a haircut from one of them.
You got a haircut from Chris. It was awesome. Hutong haircut. In China. It was a haircut in China with our friend Chris, who works
That haircut's going to cost a lot more money now.
It is 104% more.
104% more.
I think something that is really interesting is Left Hand is distributed in all 50 states in the U.S. But
Did not know that.
they and internationally, so they took an approach when everyone was growing. I think that they saw an opportunity to be lean. They own their property in Fort Collins, they're in Longmont. They own their property. It seems like they're set up for the long term. Dry Dock has essentially, they came to the realization that they need to let go of their brewing facilities and find a partner. And that's a hard decision to make as an operator, as somebody who's grown their own business, to basically say, I'm going to go live within another entity. And so it looks like now they've been kind of passed off from Great Divide to Left Hand, which Left Hand seems like a great matchup. I think Left Hand's doing like 30,000 barrels, which is down from their peak of.
Oh wow, I thought they were bigger.
I think it was like 80,000 at the peak. So they're
Wow.
So they're basically looking to fill that 80,000 barrels with partners. And Dry Dock, it's a storied Denver, area brewery, and it sounds like they're not done. They did like a crowdfund raise to raise money to essentially do this, like find partners and like how to basically continue to stay relevant and continue to grow. One of the things that stuck out to me in the article, and it's something that I think all of us as small breweries worry about, is like, how do you still be creative if you've now merged? So like STEM, Denver Beer Company, they also have a lager brand, Denver Beer Company does, and now Great Divide. Like, how do you create new beers? How do you stay, like, what is staying relevant? Like, is staying open staying relevant? Is coming out with that next flavor that somebody's never had before relevant? So I think there's a lot of open questions to see
when
what's
you
going
say
to happen.
staying open, what do you mean by that? Like just being in business?
Just being in business,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Like, yeah, like, are you making beer that's good enough that people want to buy again?
Okay.
Is it interesting?
Just curious.
enough?
What you
Yeah,
meant.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I think that, because, like, if you don't have a brick and mortar brewery and you're a contract brand, then like what are you fighting for, essentially, right? Like, I don't know. I haven't faced that scenario, like where we have a little tap room in the middle of Ravenswood and where people can interact with our customers. We're not fully a contract brand. We do some co-packing, a good bit of co-packing, which is a fancy word for contract brewing. But yeah, so yeah, I think there's a lot of emphasis on innovation, but haven't we like innovated already?
Yeah. I mean, there's always 22-ounce cans to be filled, but
That's the thing that gets me, is like, oh, we gotta think, what's the next?
21-ounce cans.
whoa, that's new.
There you
Yeah,
go.
21.
You mean
Wait.
Do you mean innovative?
That's
Wait,
that's
and
what
then-
that is what I meant. You're right.
We'll get back to 22-ounce bottles.
Hey,
But I guess like overall,
sorry,
it
19.2s.
it is interesting because I'm not we make great beers. We're always trying to do like, what's the new thing? We held off on the hazy thing for too long, but now we do it and it sells a lot, but it's not going anywhere. But like, how much innovation can you possibly have that will supersede your impact on whether it's your local community or the city that you're in? Like, we're in the city of Chicago. It's a big city.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can have a great business, And we were talking about this earlier. Like, what is the cost of growth? Growth is expensive, So I think that's
up
what
front. You got to pay for it first.
And that's what got Craft in trouble, is that a lot of these breweries tried to grow, and they built these big breweries. Well, they have debts to pay. So, we're very fortunate to be in the city of Chicago. We live in our business is based in a densely populated neighborhood. So we can subsidize the business with that density. Mm-hmm. Not everyone is afforded that same luxury. But at the same time, the beer has to be good. You could be in the middle of a densely populated neighborhood, and if the beer isn't good, it doesn't matter. So that being said, I forgot what the original question was, but
So what are the benefits of this type of thing? Like how,
They were talking
That's the
about the dry dock and yeah.
what are the
Back
benefits?
then.
I think if you look at it, you look at two companies that have been through a lot. One owns their own property. I think that you end up having this dry dock brand that if you can move 22,000 barrels in Colorado, that means something. Like, Colorado doesn't mess around. It knows beer. I'm assuming that they have 22,000 barrels worth of consumers that are like, yeah, I like this brand. And they grew. That's another kind of, in a time of people not growing, you have this brand that made a tough decision to abandon their brewery, and merge with another company to save the brand. I guess going back to the being open or not, you either liquidate and go out and the brand dies, or you can, close your brewery, keep the brand alive, and find partners that help you be better. But when you merge with those partners, then you have experience. I mean, running this too, running a small business is really hard. Yeah. And if you can get together with other folks who, when we started out, we picked our business partners on day one if we have partners, right? Some people are not, they don't have partners. But if you picked your partner on day one, before you got all that experience, you may not have had a great relationship with that partner that you started with. But now, if you've been through the ringer 15, 20, 25, 30 years, that's a lot of experience that you can't take away, And I think there's a lot of shared experiences where people have been maybe humbled or they think differently today than they used to. And so the idea of some of the platforms were put together on the basis of flipping and selling to private equity. And I think if your end goal is to flip a craft brewery at this point, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. If you're doing it to make sure that you can ensure the legacy of these brands that people have created, that they've sunk everything that they can into, and maybe they're fledgling for various reasons. You chose the wrong industrial park, or the wrong, you weren't in a neighborhood that had foot traffic. You are still making great beers, but you're having a hard time because you can't reach certain people, or you didn't have an in-house graphic designer, things like that, things that matter towards building a brand. And so if you can kind of join forces and hedge those things, that could, in my opinion, help this next era, because I think we're about to see, what was old, it will be new again. Like we're in this phase where craft, there isn't a lot of the hype, right? Like people aren't waiting in line for things like they used to. But what once was old, like we're gonna get the young people are gonna start realizing oh wow, this Guinness Guinness is a huge trend right now. Mm-hmm. With the young people, it's bringing them out to drink.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. And you heard it first on Insiders Roundtable. But yeah, so I think to close the thought out, I think that there is a huge opportunity ahead of us. And I think if people see that they've created these brands that maybe on your own, it's going to be tough. If you match up with people who have similar sizes and or leanness, or there are attributes that you find attractive that could help, I think you'll see this happen more and more. It happened in the Boston area already with Night Shift joining up with Jack's Abbey, and that's been hugely, it seems, at least on outsiders' perspective, seems very successful. So it seems like this might be something that we'll see more and more as founders need to come up with succession plans, and the day of selling your brewery to a big company for a big paycheck, that was here.
Gonna start making it into fruit punchify it.
Well, that's actually the next article is actually that LOL, an alcohol brand, buys Sunny D, is how I phrased it. But yeah, anyway.
If you can do that quickly, we can.
Nah, that's it. That like a 100.
How does that relate to?
Well, Sunny D has an alcoholic brand,
but
it's very interesting.
A 140-year-old alcohol company, Castillos Hermanos, which I never heard of before this, but they're formed in 1888. Bought Sunny D and its family of brands to basically make hard
Sunny D.
They want to grow their beverage portfolio, whatever. But also
hard Sunny D exists.
Buy hard Sunny D.
That's why I said it.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law drinks it.
Yeah, it's wild.
So Sunny D effectively increased its value by making hard Sunny D, and then had access to alcohol companies wanting to buy it, not just like Mondelez or like.
Oh, so they bought the actual Sunny D, not just
they bought the whole brand.
I'm sure Sunny D was like, if you want this, you got to take the whole thing.
So how does that?
Every other brand that is involved with Sunny D.
I like thinking of the old. You might be too young to remember, Mike. The
Hug, Big Burst.
Wait, they do Hugs?
No, HUG. It's not Hugs.
But the little barrel drinks?
Yeah.
That's from Sunny D?
Are you surprised by that, dude? It's just
Yes.
sugar water with colors.
Yes. yes. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that they make Hugs.
I didn't know.
So
I didn't know
when-
those barrels had names until I
We used
saw
to call
this
them
article.
quarter drinks.
A Juicy Juice is another big one.
Oh, nice. There's no juice in Juicy Juice.
You really shouldn't make alcoholic Juicy Juice. That would be really.
They
really
make
wrong.
now
There's no juice
alcoholic
in
Hugs.
No juice in Juicy
Alcoholic Hugs, dude, with the peel back foil at the top. Oh my god, that would destroy with certain people.
Juice. Yeah.
Maybe
Green and purple.
Well, they already
and
make
blue.
those though.
Or
That's what's
are they
like.
gonna be
the,
doing-
like buzz,
Yeah, but they're
buzz
not
balls.
Hugs.
Yeah. They bought the. They,
about Borg?
This seems so. We can't put. I don't know if we're going to put this link in the thing, but like you open this and you're like, oh, this is nostalgic of like things that I drank in elementary school.
Well, that's
that
what I was
are,
saying
like, or at
before.
soccer practice.
The old,
that they're not
uh,
just going to put booze in. So I'm like, oh, it's like I'm back from being a 6-year-old.
I'm
but now
imagining the
drunk.
commercial. It's like, what do you got to drink? And it's like from the shot
Purple
was from
stuff.
inside the looking out of the refrigerator.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, yeah, we got soda,
Purple
stuff, Sunny D.
Sunny D.
Nah, let's just get hammered instead.
Oh wait, what is that? Vodka?
Yeah, let's just put
Tiffany,
it in the
grab
Sunny
the
D.
vodka. Yeah, it's a bunch of 6-year-olds drinking after they played wiffle ball.
Yeah, they were like, 9-year-olds.
9. You're right. Yeah, 9-year-olds. In Germany, that would be acceptable.
Exactly. Radler.
Yeah, Kinder beer. No, let's get the hard Sunny D.
what a platform.
Yeah, so they
You're talking
drink.
about this.
They drink. Yeah. That hard Sunny D. I remember when I went to Ocean City, Maryland. I went into the. We're technically in
Hard
Felton,
Sunny
Delaware.
Crush.
I threw something out and I lifted up the bin, the trash bin outside, and just saw tons of like old box cardboard from 4-packs of hard Sunny D. And I immediately was.
I just got a shiver from the idea of drinking more than one hard Sunny.
Yeah, they're very sweet.
Yeah.
But I think they're also. It might have even been like diet hard Sunny D. Like it was. It was.
What are we doing? What are you doing?
They're getting drunk. That's what they're doing,
Yeah,
and
but
that's
there's
all
so
they
many ways
care.
to get drunk. There's so many ways to get drunk, and drinking diet hard Sunny D has to be the worst. Has to be one of the worst.
And
How
all of
much-
us, all of
How
us,
much did it sell for? How much did it sell for?
too much.
How much did it sell for? And you said
More or less than
You said
Buzzballs.
that's the worst way to get drunk.
1.5 billion.
No.
There you go. That's not the worst.
Wow.
Apparently, that's not the worst.
Wow.
But this isn't just the
Apparently
hard Sunny.
will be
Like
is
if you
the
look at the
worst.
picture of like all of these brands, like the smallest thing in here is hard Sunny D. This is an alcohol company buying all of these brands, none
Yeah.
of which have a hard version of them.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet, exactly.
And I Hug, Fruit 2.0, Very Fine, Juicy Juice, Sunny D, Dailies. Yeah.
I think that these articles are all very related because I think this is like
Just like that. This is the like.
This is the end.
The
Terminal
peak,
spiral.
The peak version of let's make a platform where we're rolling up like a bunch of different like-minded brands to try to survive together. This is the version where it's at $1 billion instead of $10 million or whatever.
I don't think it's at the end. I mean, Alani Nu just sold for $1.8 billion. So like,
We did talk
that's
about
That's
that
not
and that.
alcoholic. That's energy drink. But
Yeah,
whatever.
to Celsius. So the thing about Celsius has to be more valuable than that. But I mean,
will be.
my bartenders
It
drink
will-
Celsius.
will
Like
be,
that's
yeah.
the energy drink they drink. But why? I don't know.
because they move.
None of them
they
can
move.
articulate it.
But what are they gonna drink? Red Bull, gross. Monster, as if.
I think it's
I
like,
drink
I
Alani
think
Nu,
Celsius
and that's
has less
really
sugar.
the only reason.
I think
why.
it's genuinely less sugar.
There's been sugar-free Red Bull forever.
Yeah, but gross, dude.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So you're coming. So you agree with me?
Yeah,
As if.
I always agree with you,
gross. That's the
stuff-
same why. It's the same reason. I
If
mean,
we could predict this stuff, it would
I
be
think
a whole
Celsius
different
rizzed
situation.
up the
Right.
kids
Yeah.
over.
But I do think what I was going to say is with
Marketing.
the Sunny D thing and the weird things that people are drinking these days, Borg juice.
Borg juice.
Borg. B-O-R-G.
We've been drinking Borg juice with Ed forever.
Yeah, man.
Well,
You're talking about blackout rage gallons.
yeah. But I guess the point, I don't want to go too far down a deep
That
hole,
also
but-
goes counter to the kids aren't drinking.
They're drinking.
How do you confiscate a dozen blackout rage
A
gallons?
dozen? Did
from-
you see?
Yeah, multiple
What do
dozens.
you, hold on. You have
St.
to-
Patrick's Day?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I want to tie all these things together before we finish because I think you can.
Okay.
Chris, you know
And,
what a-
and the crescendo might be the Borg juice.
you know what a blackout rage gallon is?
No.
It's jungle juice made for a generation who went through college when the most dangerous thing was being around other people.
It's a personal
it's,
jungle juice.
It's like it's Everclear, Sunny D, probably.
Any
in-
powdered thing. So
Yeah,
like
powdered
Kool-Aid
Gatorade.
or powdered Gatorade if you want to get those electrolytes.
And you just get a gallon jug.
gallon jug.
You mix it. You half water and then a 750 milliliter bottle of your favorite vodka.
750.
750, and then you
Grain
carry it around. But you
alcohol.
also have to put a pun on
Yeah.
the gallon, so it's an empty gallon milk jug. Or if people have access to like raw materials, I guess apparently, just empty gallon jugs. You have
Just-
to write a Borg pun
Just a bev wrap. They'll make
Borg,
so that you
like
know, that it's
Star
your
Trek?
No,
Oh,
Borg
a
blackout.
Borg pun.
Blackout rage gallon.
No, I'm saying, but a Borg pun being
could.
like
Yeah,
Star
like-
Trek Next Generation.
Oh,
pun.
absolutely.
Yeah.
As long as you know that that's
assimilation
your,
puns.
as long as you know that it's your gallon, because you don't, heaven forbid that you get mixed up with somebody else's
Right.
rage gallon.
It's jungle juice for a generation that can't use a ladle.
Right. I mean, what we did was we literally, we did it on a couple occasions. We bought a kiddie pool, and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had it
That's
on the floor of our kitchen, and we filled it with Everclear and juice and
Yeah, yeah.
fruit and all this
Yeah.
stuff.
I remember
It might have not even been that alcoholic by the end. We have
probably
no
wasn't.
idea. We have no idea. And then we just like scooped into it, and then the next day we all had ringworm.
But yeah, right. Well, I have a distinct memory of my 19th birthday when we were living in our first apartment, which probably should have been condemned already. And my sister, who is a lawyer, and her husband, who went to Harvard and is also a lawyer, came having no idea that this was like not a party where we're like having dinner, and they drank the jungle juice, and my sister was like, "Oh yeah, it's like sangria," and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like sangria for degenerates."
Right.
But yeah.
It's like sangria
No.
if the pitcher of sangria crashed through the wall and said, "Oh, yeah." It's sangria like that.
like
yeah.
that. And that's
how-
the future.
How long until there's like pre-packaged Borgs?
It's got to be already in the works.
You can't call it like a blackout rage
No.
gallon.
You,
can
but
call
you call it
Borg.
Borg because what do they know?
Borg.
It's a pretty great name though.
Yeah, it is. And so
And
this
it's-
is where I
what-
think
It's like
What-
fight milk. You ever had fight milk?
What is G? Yeah. What is? Wait, but it's BORG.
gallon
Blackout
like
rage gallon.
Rage
Yeah.
gallon.
Yeah. So there's a whole thing over St. Patrick's Day. It was like Boston and Chicago. Like how many
Hundreds of
Borg-
Borg
Borgs,
gallons
yeah.
getting
Yeah.
confiscated at St. Patrick's Day
It
parades.
was pretty good.
But that's like the kids aren't drinking. The kids still be drinking.
They're
They're just
drinking.
lying in their self-reported studies.
Well, you don't.
And
get
they don't
the-
have money right
Nielsen
now.
does not track the data of
Borg.
of people buying booze for people who haven't turned 21
Right.
yet. You know,
Right.
like half of Gen Z hasn't turned 21 yet.
Right.
So I do think that this all wraps up nicely into the future of like the next 10 to 15 years of your business, my business. Like as we're thinking
Make
about
Borgs.
no. On a more
Sorry,
serious note. On a
sorry,
more
I
serious.
misunderstood.
Let's take it serious. No. I do think that there is in the next 10 to 15 years we're going to see people graduating from Guinness. Like Guinness is very popular right now. There will be those same graduates from Borg who are like, okay, I'm sugared out.
There will be.
There will be. Oh, Sunny D, whatever it might be. Like they're going to seek the next flavor that they haven't had. And there's an entire population of young person. You could probably check your podcast statistics to find out how many people under 34 listen to this.
None.
And I bet it's
Two.
Could be, but that's up from one.
Connor and one other guy.
Well, it might be up from one. That's
up,
fine.
Connor?
So, long story short, I do think that there's some value in folks who are trying to decide to share resources, whether that be like co-packing or merge these platform things. nobody is going out. Like, I don't think the idea is to like flip these things in 5 to 7 years. If somebody has that answer, they might as well like buy Tornado.
Right.
But like, yeah, I think the thing that has to be instilled is like the difference between Borg and Sunny D and what's going on, and what has happened in Craftus.
I sorry to interrupt, but I will say this, and we want to get out of here in a little bit, but I don't think Borg is in any way going to translate to a different brand. But I think what you but what I think you can, like, no one's going to like Borg isn't Jungle Juice is not going to be a gateway to a, you know what, because it would be sangria. I mean, that would be like the high end. Like, I really like these like fruity, juicy, like concoctions,
hazy,
and that's just not going to happen. Yeah. But what might happen is the social gathering,
Yes.
Involving alcohol.
Yes.
Now that could happen,
which is
Right.
what they're telling us. They're telling us that that's not happening, right?
But it's
that's
definitely
BS.
is happening.
yeah, they just don't have metrics. Like, everything's so tracked. They don't have, like, they can't. The data companies cannot put a pin in what's going on.
Right. And I think that the thing that the Borg points out is that what everyone was saying was that kids aren't drinking. Kids are drinking. But I was talking to someone about like how there's certainly a certain amount of like your inebriation that's being taken away by the fact that cannabis is so legal and available. But there's something to alcohol and drinking and craft beer.
Well, alcohol is a social lubricant.
Well,
unlike really any other drug.
Right. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe this culture will change. It's just not a thing I can see currently. But like cannabis beverages or no one's getting together to drink a bunch of CBD beverages or to like have a couple like 2.5 milligram.
And I am far away from those people.
Right. I have a couple 2.5 milligram THC beverages even. Like, that's like I'm at home, I'm on the couch, like, and these are so like, this is a very, like, I don't know if it's buzzy anymore, maybe even post buzzy, but like there are occasions, and all of the social occasions are still surrounded by alcohol, right? They're still like maybe you're drinking a little bit less, but you're still going out, you're drinking like a beer, or you're like. And like,
I mean, what other drug? I mean, I guess maybe cocaine. Would you want to like do and then be around other people? Like, I mean, alcohol. Alcohol's the only one.
Yeah. Caffeine.
Are we in the Gold Coast?
Viagra.
Right. Yeah. Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like recreational drugs,
but
and then when you're getting to like ones that are like easily available, I mean, there's really no choice. Like, who wants to get
so maybe what we're
annihilated high, and then like hang out in a social setting, maybe with just like their friend
or someone else who's annihilated high,
right?
But maybe what we're probably going through right now is a flattening of the options people have to feel in an altered state. But those occasions are very specific to being home. And there's more occasions when people are home, but all social occasions are still going to be like in a bar or in a tap room.
And maybe Gen Z is seeing
that's what
the older people having been inside, and these people have been inside their whole lives and want to be like, you know what? I don't want to be inside. I want to be out in a
There's
place.
a lot of evidence.
I hope
there's a lot of evidence that Gen Z wants to create like in-person connections with people.
Grass.
Yeah, touch grass type experiences, and like maybe they do it in a way that doesn't involve alcohol as much as previous generations. But like, for all the ills alcohol has, there are benefits. Like, it is a very like socially beneficial and communal beneficial drug that like I think. Even if the kids aren't drinking right now, like, they'll discover it and be like, this is useful. Like, this is maybe detrimental to my health, but it's beneficial to my social life, which is, good for my health.
Go to Oktoberfest. Go to the Augustiner in Salzburg, and you're telling me that those are let's go the Augustiner in the Kloster in Salzburg, that is not a negative for society there.
Right.
It's a positive. You see families there. You see multi-generational families. You see people getting together for regular meetings, and not just to get hammered every week. It's that they're Stammtisches. This is their crews, their groups.
Right.
You have like so much, and it's very community based, and it's
it's joy. It brings joy.
And alcohol is a drug. It is addictive. It is bad for your health if used in excess, certainly.
Right.
But it's also a social lubricant, and
we're social animals.
Yeah.
And like there's a strong argument to make the thing that made us so successful as beings is the way we socialize. Right, that we were able to tell each other things and like talk to each other and like then use each other's ideas and be like that. At the very core of what that makes you to be human is your ability to commune with other people, and that this thing is a deep tool that helps that communion, unless it's abused. But there's something very special with that. That like cannabis is a tool for stuff, right? Like you can like open your mind and like be more creative, but it's not a tool for that. And that's the thing.
Definitely chill out.
The thing that's at the very core of what makes humans is our like communication and communion with each other.
So there was an article I read recently, and I can't remember what article it was in or magazine it was in, but it was that we are at the United States is at basically the bottom. Like we've never been so insular and like antisocial. That family gatherings with friends, social experiences. This was a few months ago, so I don't. It's obviously it's been a minute, but I think it's all relevant to like what we just talked about. Is like we went through a lot. Like we basically went from being a very social, very our business thrived on the community, and then basically saying like to be safe, we can't like be near each other, and for some of those young people. Like, yeah, maybe it seemed like 5 years to us, but like if you were a freshman in high school or a freshman in college or just about to graduate college, that's like 12
in kindergarten, like all these like the ripple effects these things are
the
huge.
years of unwinding of all those social norms that
Charlie
were
started
founded.
School at the remote.
Yeah, so that's something like I think about how we like as our like we're a very community oriented business. We have families coming in. We just got off our best month since COVID. March was our best month since COVID.
Our March was very strong.
It was actually better than March of 2019. And obviously we've raised our prices, so like I don't know what the equivalent is, but to have that
tariffs, probably.
Well, now we have tariffs. That's a whole nother. You got another hour for this show?
Pre-tariffs.
Tariffs for people from outside your neighborhood.
But it does
Outside
feel like
raves
we're
with
finally
tariffs.
at that point where people are like those socializations, like those experiences, at least in Chicago locally, are starting to heal, where it's the norm for 20 people to go out to their local craft brewery to celebrate someone's birthday and expect that they can find to sit 20 people together.
Yeah.
Whereas like for a long time that wasn't happening, and that was hitting us hard.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's changing, and so that's where I speak like about the next 10 to 15 years and why it's worth fighting for all of our, communal small businesses. Like it makes sense. Like we went from one extreme to the other, and we were taught, or we basically trained ourselves to be antisocial, and now we got to unpack that, and the Borg juice is one of those ways where it's like, okay, well, they're saying like, there was like an image that was shared that said, well, Gen Z only spent this much on alcohol last year. It's like, well, half of them haven't turned 21
They ain't got no
yet.
money either.
Yeah, they don't have any money. 4 million of them or something like that don't have jobs. But that being said, like, how do you can't quantify when half the age group isn't even 21.
Right.
They can't legally purchase what they're doing. But also, those folks have spent the last 5 years in some sort of weird version of a world that we'll never know.
Right. Well, Kevin, where is a place in maybe Memorial Day weekend that these people may want to come and commune?
Commune? Yeah. We have May Festiversary coming up on May 24th and 5/25/25. So 5/25/25.
Wow. A lot of 5s and 2s.
A lot of 5s and 2s. Mayfestiversary, which is Dovetail's 9th anniversary, I think. It is
Congratulations.
Good for them.
To them.
Yep.
You're 12th?
We are 13 this year,
13
but we don't celebrate till October.
Yeah, you're 12 and a half.
We're 12 and a half. But Yep, Oktoberfestiversary is our celebration of it'll be 13 years. But yeah, we had over the course of the weekend last year we had 10,000 people, not all at the same time, but our gate counters counted quite a bit. And then over the last, it is not only just a good beer drinking event, good way to socialize with your neighbors. But we also do it for good. We've raised $350,000 over the last 6 years.
It'll all be going to the Ravenswood School going forward.
Well, they got to talk to my people. Need to talk to their people. It is going to go to the Friendship Center, which is one of our local food pantries in the neighborhood. We're very fortunate that we work with very closely with 3 different food pantries, all located within the boundaries of our neighborhood. There's a lot of need there, so it's fun to be able to help out, and we're hoping to. I think it would be really cool if we could raise $100,000 this year. Things are getting a little weird, and who knows where. I think the biggest thing with that festival that we didn't realize that the celebration of drinking. Everyone should come out and drink beer, and watch music. We have a yacht rock cover band.
They're great.
But yeah, everyone should come out for that.
Band, they have a fun name, right?
The Yacht Rockettes.
The Yacht Rockettes. Yeah.
Last year, I got the fortunate duty of being able to decide whether or not the Yacht Rockettes should play in the middle of a thunderstorm. That was
the best
terrifying.
part for you.
Yeah. Small business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you want to do a small business?
Yeah.
It's turned into a great avenue to do good. So in the local community.
Awesome.
But yeah, thank you for having me out to talk about my semi-annual event.
Of course. You got anything going on, Chris?
No,
Me either.
just events, stuff like that.
Just events and things
Beer
that I
things
can't
that'll
remember
be
right now.
ancient memory by the time this sees the light.
You
of
coming to
day.
Mayfest?
Of course. I always
It's
do.
a trip for you. It's
It
a
is.
trek.
Yeah. I have to throw a stone and then go pick it up. Then I'm there. Yeah, well, thanks to Nile and obviously to Kevin, and thanks to Serge, and thanks to you, Mike, as well.
Thanks to you, Chris.
Oh, thanks. I was kind of
And Sunday.
waiting for one of you.
You
If
were
I say
doing
thank
this,
enough
like,
people.
Rapid, come on.
I would like to
thing with
thank
your hand.
Sunny D.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't think purple
Diet
stuff.
or regular?
I don't
Either.
know.
Okay. All right.
Wait, are we talking about the alcohol or the regular?
Yeah. Diet. there is
Alcoholic,
diet.
regular diet, non-alcoholic Sunny D is what I like to think.
I like to blend them.
I like to layer
All right, let's get out of here. So long, guys.
Remember this is what we wanted. Remember this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember this is what we wanted. Remember this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember this is what we wanted. Remember this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again.